Okay. Testing, testing. Here we go. I'm just waiting for everyone to show up. I'm just wait. I'm just waiting for everyone to show up. Hold on. I'm kind of waiting for everyone to show up, so kind of doing a little there. I'm just kind of waiting for right now. That's all I am doing, really. Okay, let's begin anyway. Hold on, actually. Oops, my bad. Waiting for everyone to show up. Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna begin anyway. Okay. I'm a badass fire horse by Burrow Freak. Chapter 1. Unexpected Company. Hold on. Okay. Deep within the Everfree Forest, inside of abandoned derelict, derelict, derelict castle, an ancient equine began to pace around the throne room, worriedly trying to calm herself. Calm herself. She was taller than most of her kind. Her mane and tail were formed out of a bright yellow flame, yet they didn't disappear to burn anything around them. Her coat was a brilliant light white, which a ting yellow and orange on from her flames. She had a pair of large white wings on her back and an impressive long horn on her forehead. She wore an intricately designed regalia, yeah, regalia, which were formed in a such way that they could also act as a protection. She had she had yellow stilled eyes with dark sentries and a sharp and a set sharp and a set sharp of teeth in her mouth. The Pegasus turned alicorn paced around the worried paced around worriedly as she assessed her predicament. Okay, okay. You've got thrown into Equestria. That's good.
And you're a pony. That's great. You're also an unicorn. Even better. But instead of an OC or something, you're a daybreaker. Or of all Alcorn, damn it. She shouted in frustration, slamming her hoof on the floor, causing it to shatter, leaving a molten crater behind. Her flame tails and mane flared accordingly with her emotion, and the room became hotter as well. Daybreaker took a breath. Ah, all right, okay, I can work with this. The elements are still here, which means Twilight's either in the Cancelet or she's in Ponyville right now. She rubbed her face with a foreleg. Right, I can do this. She paused to think she didn't want the main six to think of her as a threat. She knew her fuck villainous appearance couldn't help her case. Who would be stupid enough to trust a flaming demon pony alicorn thing? Okay, I can have. Well, I could have them beat Nightmare Moon. How could I put it without messing their trials? She thought out loud. Daybreaker began to pace around the room again. Maybe I can swoop in and keep Nightmare in a headlock while they're trying to blast her. I might get myself blasted too. Her eyes widened. I'm not really evil. I just look evil. So does that mean not though that means nothing going to happen? Yeah? Alright. I should do that instead. Let me see. Uh, Darn you, cursed demon. I'm just waiting for it now. Hold on, let me set up the whip. Don't mind the live thing on the bottom. Just don't. Okay. She glanced around the disrupt, decrepit pit throne room and sighed. Stay here for a night. If I hear evil laugh, that means nightmare's here. If not, then try to find a disguise spell and go to Ponyville. She muttered to herself once more. As the day continued on the night, as day continued on the night, Daybreaker kept a vigilant eye upon the mare the moon. She knew it would change. It won't change until close to sunrise. But it never hurt to be careful. Come on, Nighty. During the time between arriving and observing the moon, she had gone through significant chunks of castle libraries as a way of training her magic. It was a pleasant surprise that despite not knowing any magic as humans previously, she was actually very adept to using it. Daybreaker didn't know if it was because of her transformation or something else entirely. But she was grateful that she had, as far as she knew, about such mastery over magic as the actual Daybreaker. Nevertheless, she felt a little guilty about the accidentally burning Celestial's old bed, though. As time went on, she started to think that maybe she'd been transported further back from than she thought. As the moon hadn't done anything but move along the sky, it quickly began to lower towards the horizon. Okay, okay. So maybe not the first episode then? Daybreaker muttered. Uh, the moon continued to dip below the horizon,
was eventually replaced by the sun, which Celestia had just rising.
Definitely, definitely. Episode before one. Shit.
Before she could do anything, Daybreaker was blinded by a flash of light. She felt like her consciousness was being lifted from her body and replaced somewhere else. It was utterly surreal experience for her. Blinking for a few times to clear her eyes, Daybreaker looked around her surroundings for a potential threat. What she didn't expect was a being she what she didn't expect was a met with was being met with a bleh, was being met with a sight of a ethereal realm, a very familiar ethereal realm. The same realm that a certain book-loving purple pony was transported to when she got her wings. Daybreaker jaw dropped. What? That? She looked around the space, only to find nothing but clouds, blue clouds, glowing orbs floating around.
This doesn't make any sense. Why would I?
Daybreaker quickly interrupted herself when she saw another tall, white-coated alicorn which was standing in front of a smaller, pink-coated alicorn which was covering behind the former. Princess Celestia took a defensive stance in front of a newly ascended ascended cadence with unfurled wings and a lit horn.
Who are you and what are you doing here?
She asked. Her voice was calm and commanding at the same time. Daybreaker's eyes widened.
She.
She was this far back? She didn't know. She didn't want to meet Celestia as her evil counterparts.
Red alert, red alert. To channel your inner role player. Come on.
mm. Daybreaker cleared her throat.
I am you. I am you.
She replied in a similar calm voice. Celestia stood her ground.
I am not in a mood for playing games. Who are? You didn't let me finish.
Daybreaker pointed a hoof to her chest.
I am you. From a alternative timeline. And I have traveled through time to prevent a catastrophic event from happening that led us to becoming.
She motioned a hoof towards her far remain.
This.
Wow. I'm great at bullshitting. Celestia glared at her.
And how am I supposed to believe this claim? You don't expect me to trust you like when you say just like that, do you?
Daybreaker shook her head.
No, I don't. I know we're not both fools. My evidence is mine, and by your existence, your knowledge, our dear sister Luna, who is a prophesied to turn from a banishment within.
She glanced at Cadence, who hid herself behind Celestia even more.
About a decade's time, give or take.
Hoping this works.
Hopefully this works.
Celestia's expression softened, her stance became more relaxed. No pony else is supposed to know. Daybreaker took a tentative step forward.
Do you believe me now?
Celestia lowered her wings ever so slightly and paused for a moment before speaking, asking,
How? How? In what way? How did you become? How did you, we become like this?
Celestia said as she gestured towards Daybreaker's form. Daybreaker lowered her head, did her best to attempt a looking sorrowful.
I gave in to darkness.
God, that sounds edgy as hell.
I failed my ponies and I've been given a chance to fix my mistakes. Please, if not for us, do it for them. They deserve better.
Come on, silly, just take it. Yay. After a few moments, after a few tense moments, Celestia fully relaxed her stand and eventually walked up to Daybreaker. She smiled towards her proclaimed counterparts. If you truly believe that, by being here, can you prevent a calamity from befalling Equestria? I would gladly extend my hoof in a friendship to you. Daybreaker returned a smile, and I would gladly accept. Mm. She paused. She realized something, and to avoid confusion, please call me Daybreaker. Celestia raised an eyebrow to an odd name at choice. Ugh. Celestia raised an eyebrow at the odd name choice, but nodded anyway. Very well. It is nice to meet you, Daybreaker. Um, Princess, what's going on? The newly ascended Cadence called out from a few faces away. Celestia stiffly giggled when returning to a soon-to-be princess. Not to worry, Cadence. Just a misunderstanding between an old friend. Cadence glanced between the two Alicors nervously. All right. Daybreaker didn't show externally, but inside she was celebrating metaphorically, rolling a nat 20 on her deception check. Still got it, baby. Daybreaker was back in the material realm. It took a bit to reordinate herself. She had informed Celestia of her current location and request to be picked up by a carriage and deliberately left out the fact that she was reluctant to try to fly. Celestia, of course, was unsure about sending one to the middle of the every forest. Eventually, they had agreement that Daybreaker would teleport to Cantola instead, which led the fiery Alicorn into studying bunch of dusty old books on long-range teleportation. Unfortunately, without a clear picture of how how the actual Cantolat looks like, she had no choice. She had to use the point of views of that were shown in the cartoon by her waypoint. They had agreed to meet up at the castle entrance once Celestia was done picking up Cadence from her village. Daybreaker waited for a few moments before preparing the spell. Hope this works. She channeled the required amount of magical energy into her horn, pictured the picture the drop bridge of the castle. Fuck. She silently hoped she didn't misfire a drop herself into a mute. Yeah. And go! Daybreaker released a red colored energy stored in her horn and in a flash disappeared from the castle of the twin sisters. Celeste, mm, Celestia and Cadence were waiting for Daybreaker's arrival in their specific location. Cadence was still a little apprehensive about the admittedly monstrous-looking alicorn, but trusted Celestia when she said that Daybreaker wasn't a threat, but rather an old friend of hers. She found it odd that despite being an alicorn as well as a friend of the princess, she never heard of Daybreaker before the counter. Sure, she was busy cowering behind the Celestial Monarch, I mean Solar Monarch, when they met, but Cadence could have sworn that two of them were talking about something else entirely back there. Celestia merely waved it off as them having a misunderstanding caused by Daybreaker being away from Equestria for the last few centuries. As for Celestia, as of right now, Monarch herself was quite concerned. Not at the same time as her adopted niece, she was worried of how her ponies would react to the two new Alicorn. Daybreaker was specifically, Cadence' presence was easy enough to explain.
She was one who obtained elements harmony favor and was ascended by its will. I'm sorry. Daybreaker on the other hoof was another story entirely. She had the same general look and proposition as Celeste herself. Uh, uh, it'd be hard to convince the populants that she had only recently ascended alongside Cadence. There was also the fact that she was easily frightened many of ponies with a single glance. Her flaming mane, slanted eyes, and sharp teeth definitely would be a cause for alarm for those who look at her. Though she's supposed to, suppo- well, she was supposed to, or though she's supposed, it couldn't be helped. Ah, as Daybreaker, anyways, as Daybreaker, fuck, as Daybreaker formed a suddenly alerted by the dark magic she felt too. Celestia sighed as what sort of catastrophic could cause of her to become Daybreaker and cause Equestria downfall. It was unfortunate that her future self couldn't tell her much due to the nature of the spell she used. All she could do now is listen to Daybreaker guidance and advice to lead her nation away from going down the dark path. For now, they agreed to use the cover story of that Daybreaker was an old friend of hers and had recently returned from adventures outside of Equestria borders. She will not be granted the title of princess, but will be gifted the title of loyal advisor. It was all they could come up with such short notice. Both Alucard were snapped out of their thoughts as a massive jet of flame erupted from both sides of the draw of the other side of the other from the other side of the drawbridge, definitely Daybreaker. As the flame died down, the intimidating figure of Daybreaker slowly made her way towards her fellow Alicorn. She flashed them a fanged smile. You know, you don't know how much I've missed this castle. Gotta make sure the lore is consistent. Celestia bowed her head slightly. Welcome, Daybreaker, or should I say, welcome back. Daybreaker sniffled in amusement before turning to Cadence, who flinched as she did. And hello to you, Cadence. Cadence smiled nervously. Hello. Now we are all here. Now that we're all here, I would like you to follow all I would like you all to follow me inside. There's somebody very special I'd like for you to introduce first. Celestia instructed as she turned around. Cadence raised an eyebrow, and Daybreaker flat a frown. Hopefully not as bad as your other defection. Sunset Shimmer felt like her time was being wasted. She had been away from her studies to greet the princess' new guests in the dining room. From what she heard, they might be staying here for a while. No biggie. As long as they leave her alone, she'll do the same to them. She just wished Princess Celestia hadn't forced her to sit there and wait for half an hour when she could be doing something more, far more important. Sunset sighed as she propped her head on her hoof. I should have brought a book, she grumbled quietly. Just then, the doors to the dining room opened gently. Princess Celestia entered while smiling at her personal student. Hello, Sunset. Are you ready to meet our special guest today? She asked. Uh, Sunset shuffled. Ready as I'll ever be, she replied unenthusiastically. Uh, Celestia pretended not to notice her student's show of displeasure. Wonderful! I would like you to introduce my niece and soon-to-be princess, Mia Cadenza. Princess Mia Cadenza. Cadence walked up behind Celestia and extended her hoofs to the student. Hi, nice to meet you, she said brightly. Sunset eyes widened as she looked at the pink alicorn appearance. I'm sorry, what did you say? Nice to. Oh, Sunset shook a hoof. No, no, that was a rhetorical question. She turned to her sister. So, Celestia raised an eyebrow. Yes, Sunset? Seeing troubling brewing, Daybreaker decided to finally step into the room and make her presence known. Apologies, it's been quite some time since I last roamed these halls. I believe I took a wrong turn somewhere. Uh, Sunset halted her prepared run as she gazed upon the third alicorn in the room. To say that her jaw dropped would be calling that to say that her jaw dropped would be like calling Discord weird. In front of her stood a being who simply radiant power. Even by standing there nonchalantly, she exuded an aura of glory and might that Cadence could only dream of having. I what? What? All what? I'm sorry. I what? Ah, let me try again. I I what? All Sunset could mutter. Celestia looked towards her time-traveling counterparts. Yes, this is Daybreaker. She is an old friend of mine and returned to Equestria after her long travels. Daybreaker nodded at the young unicorn. Greetings, she said curtly. Sunset could only reply with a slight nod while staring at the flaming alicorn. Okay. Celestia gingerly approached the student. Sunset, are you feeling well? Sunset eerily turned. Turned her head back towards Celestia, her eyes still open. Is she okay? Cadence asked steadily. Then, thud. Uh, Daybreaker looked over the unconscious unicorn before turning to the surprised Celestia and Cadence. Was it something I said? Okay. And I noticed like only like a few moments, I think. Yeah. And before I begin again, I just want to thank you guys for helping me, reach 1,000 subscribers. And it really means a lot. It really does. Doing this type of content really, entice my, you know, you know what I mean. Entice my little bit of career. Not really as rich as much, but yeah. I want to thank you guys for so much support to me and this long journey of reading books like a nerd. Yeah, yeah. And let's read another one. And then I'll head to bed after that. Yeah, I'll head to bed after that. Books and Besties by Silk Rose. Books and Besties. Oh, I peered. I peer out of Twilight's door as the rain pounds the bark of her treehouse. Twilight asked, "Do you want to stay here tonight? Do you want here to stay here tonight, Pinky?" My answer is made for me to a thundercloud roars in the distance. Sure, This is going to be so much fun. Sure, this is going to be so much fun. Oh, I'm so excited. What should we do? Read a book? I've been reading a book, a lot of romance lately. Twilight doesn't reply, but doesn't wait for my. Eh? Hold on. Backtrack that. Fuck that. What in the loving fuck? Hold on. Hold on. Let me. Oh, this is interesting. Why is it tic tac toe? Hold on. Let me figure something out here. Cuddle count. Whisper and wishes. Um, leaning on love. This should be fun. It's like a romance. Leaning on Love by Silk Rose. Leaning on Love. I trot into Twilight's house and find her reading a book. She looks so peaceful. I quietly move behind her and sit down, leaning gently against her back, and wrap my hooves around her. Hi, Twilight. Twilight sets Twilight sets her book down before holding one of my hoof. Hello, Pinky. I nuzzled the back of her neck and closed my eyes. How's your day going? It's going good, especially now that you're here. How's yours going? It's been a tough one, but I'm feeling better now that I'm with you. This is gonna be hilarious. Twilight holds my hoof tighter. I'm glad I could help. Do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about it? I sigh. Well, after I got up, I made a bunch of desserts for the cakes. I sang a song to make it go fast. It was fun, but a lot of work. How did your day start? Well, my day started pretty normally. I had some dinner that Spike made, did some research. What you do next? Oh, I had to make some deliveries for like a long time. It took some extra long. It took extra long because I couldn't stop thinking about Twilight Sparkle. What you research? I was trying to I was trying to research romance, but I didn't have much luck. As I as I couldn't stop thinking about Pinkie Pie. After that, I decided to try and write my own feelings down in the letter, but that didn't go well either. Well, why are you what why were you thinking about Twilight Sparkle? I blush. I had a crush on her and I just loved being around her. She's a good friend. She's such a good friend, and she's super pretty. What do you think about what were you thinking about Pinkie Pie? Lesbian fun time. I should have that horn. Well, I was thinking of Pinkie Pie for a similar reason. She always make me smile. She's a great friend. She's the cutest pony I know. What you do after the delivery? Well, I helped Rainbow. She wanted to do some pranking together. I tried my best, but I didn't do my best. She could she could tell she could tell something was up. So she asked me. I explained everything to her. Uh, what'd she say? Well, I should have. She said I should go to Twilight's. to Twilight and talk about how I feel. I told her I wanted to, but it was hard. I really like Twilight. I don't want to say anything that could messes our friendship up. Anything messes our friendship. Eh. I know what you mean. I really want to talk to Pinkie Pie, but I keep putting it off. You're really understanding. You're really understanding what to do next. Ah, I decided to sit down and read some romance book. Try and learn how it works in the stories. Did you learn anything that could help either of us? I didn't read anything. I didn't read many before getting interrupted, but I did learn one thing. What was that? Communication is verbal to any good relationship. That's good to know. This is the outro converse. We should have known that with good pairs of friends we are. Good point. What you do after helping Rainbow? Well, I decided to go see Twilight. I needed a break, but I want to see her really badly. What you do together? I'd held her and talked about different stuff. What interrupt you? It was Pinky, the pony I see. Ah, it was Pinkie Pie, the one pony I wanted to see the most. That's nice. Did you two have a good time? We did, but I think it was about to get better. How so? Twilight said. Twilight's voice gets higher. Can we switch places real quick? Sure, I said as I opened my eyes. I sat up and turned around before I felt Twilight leaning against my back. Her hoofs her hoofs around me and nuzzled my neck. I grabbed her hoof and held it against my chest. I blushed again. How's this? Twilight's whisper in a serene voice. It's great. You're so soft. My blush intensified. Thank you. You too. Twilight squeezes me a bit tighter. I ask, what happens next? That's the fun part. We get to decide. I stupidly ask, can we stay in this moment forever? Twilight giggled. Maybe not forever, but definitely a while. Yay! You're really cute. You know that? Thank you. Thanks. You too. We sat there in silence, just enjoying each other's company. I melt into her embrace, humming a tone. After a while, Twilight giggled. You know, we just revealed our feelings to each other. It's way easier than I thought it was going to be. I giggled too. You're right. Twilight holds me tighter and I squeeze her hoofs in response. I ask, Twilight? Twilight nods me again. Yes, Pinky? This is real, right? Twilight giggles again before gently kissing my neck. Yes, need a pinch to prove it? I blush harder than kiss her hoof. I believe you. Good. I take a moment to reply. I don't want this moment to end, but I also want to give you the biggest hug. uh, I also want to give you the bestest, most romantic hug I can get. I can. What should I do? How about this? Can we switch places again and in between our hugs? Sounds good to me. Twilight pulls away from me and I turn around, looking her in the eyes for the first time since we revealed our feelings. We stared in each other's eyes and got lost in the moment. She is so beautiful. I almost forget what I was doing in my eyes. Start to water. I love her.
We lean towards we lean forward, wrapping each other's in a tight hug. I ask in a weak voice,
Twilight? Yes? Will you go out with me? Yes. Yes!
uh,
Yes!
we both squeeze each other tighter.
You mean so much to me. You too.
We both, we both, we hold the hug for a while. Eventually, to end it. We lean back forward, a, a smile wide at each other. Twilight blushes.
I'd say that was worth the interruption.
I nod vigorously.
Yes.
Twilight turns around and lean against her back again. I lean against her again. I wrap my hoof around her and squeeze it. She pulled one of my hoof and nuzzled it before kissing it. I kiss her neck.
Twilight, I love you. Pinky, I love you too.
Oh, this is so wholesome. I love this already. I'm so in love with it already. Yeah, yeah. I love this story. This is so romantic. I really do. Like, imagine two lesbians like falling in love with each other and like whatever. Yeah. I will do one more. Then I'm gonna go to bed. One more. One more.